Welcome to your annual Right to Know workshop. The goal of this training is to ensure that everyone who works with hazardous chemicals is aware of the hazards and the necessary precautions. Because any school employee may potentially come in contact with a hazardous product, federal and state regulations require training. Therefore, as public employees, all persons who work in New York State schools must attend this annual training. The New York State Right to Know law requires that you receive training about exposures to chemicals when you are first hired, annually, and whenever your exposure to a chemical is changed. The Right to Know law requires that a poster be located where employees can easily access the information. This poster includes the name of the district contact in the event you have a question about your potential exposure. This law also dictates that the district needs to provide a written response to employee questions within 72 hours. If not, the requester has the right to refuse further contact with that chemical. In addition, the Federal Hazard Communication Standard regulates chemical safety in schools. It requires a written plan which describes the rights and responsibility of employers and the employees, labeling, safety data sheets for chemicals on hand, and employee training. The written plan is available to you upon request. The key to minimizing potentially harmful effects from overexposure to chemicals is to avoid unnecessary exposure whenever possible. Exposures to chemicals can cause two types of hazards: physical and health.
In order to avoid potential health hazards, it is important to understand the routes of entry that a chemical may take. There are 4 possible routes of entry: absorption through skin contact, inhalation, ingestion, and injection. Absorption occurs when skin contacts a chemical and is absorbed into the epidural layers. Inhalation occurs when breathing in a chemical vapor. Ingestion occurs through eating or drinking a chemical either accidentally or intentionally. Injection or puncture occurs when a chemical enters the body by force. It is important to notice that some food and chemicals look very much alike, as you can see in this photo. It is imperative that chemicals are not stored in containers that are for food use. For example, Gatorade bottles, mason jars, or pitchers. Common types of personal protective equipment, or PPE, include chemically resistant gloves, goggles, and hearing protection. Check with your supervisor the label or the safety data sheet if you are unsure if PPE is required for the task at hand. To prevent exposure, always remember to choose the right gloves for the job and to wash your hands after with soap. Inhalation, ingestion, absorption, and injection are ways that chemicals can enter your body and may cause some type of reaction. Inhalation exposure is most common for adults. Ingestion is the most common exposure for children.
Since global harmonization updated hazard communication standard, it now requires that safety data sheets follow a uniform 16-section format. Generally, the most relevant sections for you to be aware of are Section 1, Identification. This section includes product identifier, manufacturer or distributor name, address, phone number, emergency phone number, and the recommended use as well as restriction on use. Section 2, Hazard Identification. This will include all hazards regarding the chemical and the required label elements. This will include pictogram and hazard statements. Section 4, First Aid Measures. This section describes the initial care that should be given by untrained responders to an individual who has been exposed to a chemical, including necessary first aid instructions depending on route of entry, the most important symptoms or effects, and recommendations for immediate care or special treatment when necessary. Section 7, Handling and Storage. This section provides guidance on precautions for safe handling and general hygiene practices, including not chewing gum, eating, or drinking in work areas. It also provides recommendations on safe storage, including incompatibilities, as well as specific storage needs such as ventilation. Section 8. Exposure controls, personal protection. This covers exposures limits, engineering controls, and personal protective measures that can be used to minimize worker exposure. Section 13. Disposal considerations. This provides guidance on proper disposal practices, recycling, or reclamation of chemicals or its container, and safe handling practices. Not only does global harmonization require all sheets be uniform with consistent formatting, it also requires the use of pictograms. Pictograms on the safety data sheets advise of the potential hazards associated with each chemical that you may use.
The health hazards pictogram may include carcinogen, reproductive toxicity, respiratory sensitizer, target organ toxicity, and aspiration toxicity. The flame pictogram indicates flammables that include pyrophoric, self-heating, emits flammable gas, self-reactives, and organic peroxides. The exclamation mark pictogram includes irritant, skin and eyes, skin sensitizer, acute toxicity, narcotic effects, respiratory tract irritant, hazardous to ozone layer. The gas cylinder pictogram indicates that gases are under pressure. The corrosion pictogram indicates hazards of skin corrosion or burns, eye damage, and corrosion to metals. The exploding bomb pictogram indicates hazards that are explosive, self-reactive, and/or an organic peroxide. The flame over circle represents oxidizers. The environment pictogram represents that the chemical causes aquatic toxicity. The skull and crossbones pictogram indicates that the chemical causes acute toxicity, meaning it is fatal or toxic.
The OHM BOCE Safety Service is contracted with Vector SDS in chemical management. They provide you with instant access to any SDS. If you would like more information, please contact your district's Right to Know designee. In addition to the Hazard Communication Standard and the Right to Know law, schools also follow the Green Cleaning Standard, requiring schools to use greener or less toxic chemicals. While it is impossible to eliminate all chemicals from schools, environmentally sensitive products are being developed and schools continue to switch whenever possible. As we have learned today, it is the goal of schools to eliminate hazards and have information for the chemicals that we do have on hand. By bringing chemicals in from home, you could unknowingly create a health hazard to building occupants. You may not think of products like air fresheners and essential oils as chemicals, but some individuals have chemical sensitivities, and certain exposures can trigger asthma attacks and/or allergic reactions. Some can even cause a fire hazard. For more information about this program, please contact your supervisor, the contact listed on your district's Right to Know posters, or the Oneida Herkimer Madison BOCE Safety Office. This concludes your Right to Know training workshop.